Oh, hi. Today I want to know, are companies tricking you into advertising for them? I'm Cross Trailer and welcome to A Wonderful Waste of Time, and while this episode may be pointing out how companies might be manipulating you, I am available for sponsored content. Like, if these videos do well and you have money, I'm just saying. Advertising can go a long way to convince you to buy a product, from paying George Clooney tens of millions to sip coffee,
George McCooney?
to throwing 250,000 colourful balls down a road in San Francisco, and even teaching babies how to roller skate. Aww. But sometimes companies don't want to put a big budget into advertising, or if they could find a cheaper way to do it, why put on a big production? Why even get marketing people to do all the work when they could get their consumers to do it for them? This first section might seem obvious to a lot of people, but everyone should be aware of what they're taking part in, and this might go further than you think. Also, a lot of this section isn't about the internet, even though the whole episode is, but we'll get to that soon. You've probably heard people say before that nothing's really free, that the people giving it away are always going to get something out of it, even if it's just not having to pay to have that thing removed. And while getting free stuff may be very beneficial, it does also make you complicit in marketing a brand. If you've ever been to an event and received a free t-shirt, maybe you're in a bookshop and you get a free tote bag, or you've had to sign something and they've told you can keep the pen. Keep the pen. If it has the company's name or logo on it, then it should be obvious. I really hope it's obvious that it's not free. You're just agreeing to advertise them by carrying around a branded product that someone else will see, spreading their brand awareness for them. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like the company, then it's all good. If they give you a free t-shirt and it's cool, then it's all cool. If they give you a free pen, that's just plain useful. But it's more important to know that it's not an act of kindness. It might seem like they're just being nice, and they might just be trying to win your favour, but they are still making you complicit in advertising for them. There are two more concentrated versions of this that I think are really interesting. The first is something I've noticed at conventions, at London Comic Con, Eurogamer, and even a film equipment expo I went to once. You'll notice that most people have the same few bags, usually a very large bag and belonging to one of the bigger companies that's selling stuff there. It's a weird subtle flex to have the most bags out there, because not only does it show people that you have a stall, but it also makes people think that you're outselling everyone else, which implies that you have stuff that's worth buying. This might also be where the free tote bags come out. So don't be surprised if a large company gives you a highly graphic designed bag that's way too big for what you actually bought, because it's probably on purpose. It's a simple way to show off. You give people the biggest bag and then everything else they buy they put into your big bag so there's less to carry. As long as you've got the bag on the outside, you're winning. As an example, let's use two companies that I like that are always at London Comic Con. Forbidden Planet and insertcoin. If you don't know them, Forbidden Planet sells mostly comic book and movie based merchandise, and insertcoin sells t-shirts with video game based designs. The two companies sell different products, but they're kind of similar. I definitely consider them competitors in the clothing department, and their fan base has a lot of crossover. Also, I should say that neither of them paid me to mention them. I just happen to like these two companies. But if they want to, my email is in the description. So let's say that Forbidden Planet's playing the old big bag game. You go to buy a shirt or a collectible and they give you a huge bag because they've run out of small ones. Then you go to insertcoin and buy a t-shirt or a hat or something and they give you an appropriately sized bag. Naturally you put the smaller bag into the bigger bag so there's less to carry. And now people will only see that you bought something from Forbidden Planet and more importantly won't see that you bought something from insertcoin. In fact, insertcoin could outsell Forbidden Planet that day, but if the majority of people also shopped at Forbidden Planet and received a big-ass bag, then nobody would notice how well they're doing because they'd only see the Forbidden Planet branding walking around. Not only is this bad for brand versus brand, it's also really bad for small businesses and artists who need more attention thrown their way. And it isn't just a tactic that's used at conventions, it's also used at shopping centres too. Now this isn't a conspiracy, because even if the companies don't know that they're doing it, it's still happening and there must be an effect. How many times have you been at a convention or a shopping centre, noticed someone with a bag with a shop on it, and then gone to look for that shop? The second version of this I think is worth noting is free samples. And not like free samples in a supermarket because you're already there spending money, so they're just getting you to buy one product over another or get something extra, but you're already spending money there, so you're a recipient, not really a participant in advertising them. No one's going to see you and think, I must buy whatever brand of cheese they're eating off a cocktail stick. They'll probably just think, all free cheese, and then go and get free cheese. I'm talking about out on the street. Likely in a city, likely somewhere with a lot of foot traffic. And if you're somewhere like London, then it's often a connecting station like Liverpool Street, King's Cross or Waterloo. And I'm sure it must happen in Grand Central, Gare du Nord and Antwerpen Central too. I definitely knew those and didn't have to look up the names of train stations just to make a point. A small group of people handing out a free, often tiny sample of a product. I found them to mostly be stuff like Coke Zero, Mountain Dew, and I've had, for some reason, yogurt and dried fruit seems to come up a lot, not sure why. Whatever it is, it's usually a small portion of something that you can easily go and buy, and the understanding as a consumer is that you're getting to try something that you wouldn't normally purchase. And if you've thought about it a little bit more, you've probably realised that it's usually such a small portion that it leaves you completely unsatisfied, and it's always something that you can go and easily find at a nearby supermarket or convenience store. But have you thought about what happens when you're walking around with the product? What do you think it does to people subliminally when they see 100 people walk out of a train station with the same product? It's not only likely to make some people jealous that they didn't get a free product, it's also likely to make them go and look for it too. And considering people walking out of a train station are going to fan out in different directions, it's going to spread the brand awareness to more people. Even when you're done, how many people, bastards, just drop their litter on the ground, meaning that the branding is there for longer? These companies are benefiting from people littering, and there's no way that someone whose job it is to organise free samples doesn't realise that it's happening. As a passerby, you might not think that this affects you. You might not be the kind of person who wants to go and get the free samples. But you'll still become more aware of the brand and more likely to pick it over something you don't know next time you're in a supermarket. And someone like Coca-Cola, who's already everywhere and massively over-advertised, is using the one place that they can't put up a billboard, TV spot, or 1 million paper cups by using their consumers to do it for them. Moving on to the internet, where this episode was supposed to be, I want to look at how companies use internet culture to promote their products through users. Because as much as they can pay to have advertising on most websites and social media platforms, they can probably do a bit better than that, and they can probably do it for free. Starbucks is one of the biggest coffee house brands in the world, and there's really only two things it's known for. The first is obviously coffee, but the second isn't any of the cakes or sandwiches it sells, or even anything that's an actual selling point, is that seemingly most of their staff don't know how to spell anybody's name. It's easy to look past this and say employees make mistakes, and it's rare that you find yourself in a job where you have to spell people's names and you don't have a correct reference to it. But surely when someone spells Jasmine like this, Aaron like this, and Virginia like this, it can't just be bad spelling. Even the classic of spelling the name Clint with the letters just a little too close together seems pretty suspect in the hands of a Starbucks employee. So what if it's not a mistake? What if it's because every time they spell someone's name wrong, you talk about it, send a picture to a friend, post it on Instagram or Twitter? What if it's because every time they spell a name wrong, there's more potential for someone to see that next to a familiar mermaid in a green circle and then get the craving to go and buy coffee themselves? This might also sound like a conspiracy theory, but have you considered Meryl, whose name has apparently been spelt Barrel? That's not a name. That's Donkey Kong's weapon of choice, and no one could reasonably think that they'd named a child Barrel. Granted, there are people called Brick, but let's leave them out of this. They've been through enough. Though shout out to whoever owns the account Mother Flippin' Rhinoceros or Mumsnet, who suggested Briquette as the feminine form. This seems like a completely realistic ploy from a company who probably doesn't want to spend a lot on advertising, if again, they can get you to do it for them. And I'm not saying that all the employees are in on it, because it's as simple as telling them that it doesn't matter if they spell someone's name wrong, because the customer might find it funny. They probably didn't start doing it on purpose, they probably noticed that people were sharing these pictures, and then leaned into it to try and go viral and make more money. Virality is a huge marketing tool, because it goes a lot further than just being complicit if they can convince you to start actively making advertisements for them. Misspelling a name might not seem like a big deal, but what if a company could get you to make memes for them? Let's take a look at Apple AirPods, a product that was announced in 2016 to a sea of people asking, why are they so expensive? Why aren't they included with the phone? What's the fucking point? Just generally not seeing the point in the product, and certainly not for its price. But now they're everywhere. They sold almost 60 million pairs in 2019, and more than that, there's a bunch of people who've made memes about them. So let's take a look at some of the memes that may have affected public opinion and the demand for the product. The meme started with the obvious joke of pointing out how silly they look. People compared them to electric toothbrush heads, Cuba, and a particular scene from There's Something About Mary. There's also a range of memes with the joke that people wouldn't be able to hear something dangerous coming with their AirPods in, which I don't really get when that joke still works with regular earphones. And this kid has got some serious con game and is really working that stonk market. But amongst all that is one meme that I've seen far more often, that only rich people can afford AirPods. Which isn't untrue when the price seems unnecessarily extortionate. If only there were a cheaper alternative that could sponsor this episode, Mr. J. But there's more... I didn't mean for that to sound like Harley Quinn. But there's more to the meme than meets the eye. It's a major marketing tactic to make a product sound expensive and exclusive. It's designed to con people with more money to think that buying a product makes them superior, while making people with less money think that they'll be ostracised for not having the product. Put simply, bullying makes people buy products so that they'll fit in. Obviously, Apple can't bully people into buying their products, but if some dickheads on the internet will do it for them, they're not going to turn down the profit. Personally, I'd argue that all of Apple's products are sold with a little bit of fake fancy just to talk them up. These memes have completely reshaped the view of AirPods, especially with children and young adults. Having gone from something that people would laugh at for being so expensive to something that people are willing to throw money at the same expense just to prove that they can afford it. They've somehow become a status symbol that's used to show off that you or your family can afford to overpay for something that's completely unnecessary. And what's more worrying than people shaming people over some earphones and potentially advertising them for a huge tech company is the idea that Apple could be the ones that started the memes themselves. There's no way of knowing where the memes came from, but the whole thing reeks of an advertising campaign, just done cheaply through the internet, using its consumers to do it for them. Something that just seems like a funny bit can really influence people to buy something they may not have really wanted and probably didn't really need. So what better way to change public opinion than to make it seem like it's already the public opinion? Let's look at how companies use their own social media accounts to create engagement with a view of getting you to repost it. Most company accounts are just advertisements. A lot of deals, sometimes just pictures of celebrities with their product, or sometimes just a picture of the product. So it would seem normal, almost sensible to advertise through a giveaway. There's plenty of accounts that do it, and heck, I've even done it for a couple of artists and musicians that I like. You tag 2 friends in the comments, follow these accounts, it's all pretty obvious and generally fine. Except, what's up with the people that you have to follow? I've only entered competitions where you have to follow the person who's doing the competition, which you probably already are. But these big giveaways from such high-profile celebrities seem to want you to follow some strange people. And what you really need to question is, why is it these people? Why do you need to follow seemingly unassociated people and shady brands like Bang Energy, which is run by a lunatic? So why would they want you to follow them? Well, it's pretty obvious that these people are paying them to convince you to follow them. Sure, you're likely to only follow them during the competition and unfollow them later, but when you have such a small chance of winning the competition, have you thought about what the people running the competition are getting out of it? Enter a company called Curated Businesses, who run these kind of competitions through people like Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, Kourtney Kardashian. Don't worry, that's all the Kardashians. Kris Jenner, Kylie Jenner and Scott Disick, who's famous for fucking around with several mansions and one of the Kardashians, but I'm not sure which one. The ploy of these giveaways is pretty similar. It's always a picture of one of the aforementioned, surrounded by designer bags, and maybe a laptop, a phone, and some cash money. You leave a comment tagged with 2 friends and follow everyone that Curated Businesses is following. But here's the nitty gritty, the real inside scoop. The curated business. The list of people that Curated Businesses is following allegedly pay between $25,000 and $50,000 to be there, and there's usually around 70 of them. Plus, they delete all the people that they're following after each competition, so those people have to pay each time they want to be on there. So while you have a very small chance to win some Louis Vuitton suitcases that will probably get stolen the next time you go to the airport, they're likely earning more than the entire prize is worth from just one of the people that you have to follow. So think about how much money is going to whichever Kardashian affiliate is involved, and the shady company that runs the whole thing that seems to get rid of every trace of the competition when it's done. While some people are desperate enough to buy followers, the simplest way to get attention is to just create a good account. Make it something more interesting than just boring promotions and 100 pictures of your products. Sure, you need that too, but you need more personality. More sass. More spice. Do you see where this is going? Wendy's Twitter account is fucking nuts. And while a lot of people caught onto it quite a while ago, I can assure you that it's still pretty nuts with spicy nugs. At some point, someone at Wendy's hired a social media manager that decided to stop just promoting their products and sending out discount codes, but instead started popping the fuck off at every other food account on Twitter. Twitter Wendy not only makes Wendy's seem far more interesting than a fast food restaurant should be, it's also actively bad-mouthing its rivals. Look at this response about McDonald's and Burger King. You may have heard about them doing this a while ago, but this is from a few weeks ago. Other brands have copied the style, but they don't seem to do it quite as successfully. Maybe it's because people know that Wendy's was doing it first, or maybe it's because whoever does it for Wendy's just gets it. I think my favourite thing about it is that in my head, it's Wendy who's actually tweeting these things. She's just been rebooted as a bratty teenager who doesn't care about being professional. She just wants to sell square burgers and shit on all the other mascots. The style of the account is genuinely great. It's funny, it's engaging, and it gets retweets. If any of the marketing that I'm talking about in this episode deserves your attention, it's this. There's no trick, it's just good social media presence. What's funnier is how far it's gone. Look at this tweet referencing the remake of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. It's so tongue-in-cheek. They don't just understand who buys their food, they feel like one of the only companies who get what Twitter even is. They've shown that even stuff that seems a little bit stupid is worth doing because it will get retweets. Wendy's has a podcast. I listened to it, it's a minute and a half, it's just an advert for Wendy's. It's kind of genius. And they're streaming games on Twitch without any commentary and Wendy's advertisements around the game. It doesn't matter if it's good because it's funny that they're doing it, so people will share it. Or you'll be mad that they're doing it and you'll complain about it, but you'll still be sharing it. The point is to learn to understand the platform and just keep pushing it as far as it will go. It doesn't matter if the people that see it will immediately buy the product. If they share it, someone might see it who will. While Wendy's plans out its posts, one of its rivals had a seemingly fortunate moment that went viral that got the attention of news sites and newspapers. I guess nothing happened that week. It started with a seemingly innocent post to advertise Burger King's breakfast items, but a conversation in the comments got people's attention. I shall now reenact that conversation exactly as it went down.
Today on Slightly Out of Focus Theatre, a breakup on the Burger King's Instagram.
My god legit took 20 minutes ordering in the drive-thru last night. Those Whoppers were worth it though, LOL. Excuse me, Jordan Von Smith 86? I don't recall going last night or ever liking Burger King. Who are you talking about? At Jordan Von Smith 86, answer your fucking phone. At Shanley Rose, you need to chill out. I was with Kit Kat 01. We were just catching up. Bring back the tender crisp cheddar ranch at Darius Rugger at Burger King. At Jordan Von Smith 86, please don't bring me into this. At Kit Kat 01, fuck you. You brought yourself into this, you fat fuck. At Jordan Von Smith 86, I hope the Whopper Juniors were worth it, you shits outside. Did I seriously just witness a breakup on BK's Instagram? You guys should do breakfast all day!
And scene. So this breakup story caused quite a scene, and people in the comments went nuts for it. People started talking about it, and then journalists started writing about it. Burger King had become the topic of the day, and it was very fortunate for them that this had happened in their comments. Except, I don't think that it actually did. I did a little sleuthing into those accounts. And I mean a little sleuthing, because 2 of those accounts don't exist, and the other one is on private and has very little numbers to it. The original Burger King post is also gone. So did Burger King make it up just to get some attention? I can't throw around accusations and just say, yes, I definitely think that they did. But we can all consider it a possibility. The final place I want to look at, I have nothing on. This is purely a fun idea, and I really hope it's real. So you know all that porn you've been looking at? All that dirty, filthy, super specific porn that you're into? Well, have you ever looked at the comments on Pornhub? Well, some of you have, because it's consistently in the top 10 most visited websites, and someone's sure leaving those comments. Have you ever noticed accounts for food companies? I'm talking Taco Bell, the Burger King, even my girl Wendy's over there. Watching people pour Frosties under their naked bodies, no doubt. While it seems like there's no way the companies are involved, and surely it's just someone making a joke, as why would Wendys be on Pornhub? Sure, they're slamming everyone on Twitter and they have a fake podcast and they're silently streaming Fortnite on Twitch, but... Is Wendys actually on Pornhub? Ultimately, we're all complicit in advertising and spreading brand awareness. Most of us have worn clothing with a brand name or logo on it. I'm wearing a Band of Skulls t-shirt right now. We talk about brands a lot, and just buying a product and other people seeing it is spreading brand awareness. I'm not trying to say it's all bad, it's mostly fine. I just think it's worth thinking about what brands you're advertising and whether what they offer benefits you as much as it does them. For further research, check out The Kardashians Are Using Their Followers as Actual Currency by D'Angelo Wallace, How to Manipulate Consumers by Slacker, and if you're interested in how weird Bang Energy is, check out Exploring the Terrifying World of Bang Energy by Casey Ionzo.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like this video, and if you want to see more, you should subscribe. If you have a question I should answer, let me know in the comments, and if there's someone you know who you think would like this video, then why not send them a link. Bye.